Isn't it crazy how God doesn't always use the people we'd expect? Sometimes he picks the ones everyone else overlooks. Ordinary people with messy pasts. But when God stepped in, everything changed. In this Kingdom Countdown, we're looking at 7 people chosen by God that you wouldn't expect.
Kingdom Countdowns!
A warrior of God doesn't fear the end. They count down with faith, ready to see the King's face.
Starting off our list, we got Rahab, the Outcast redeemed. Rahab wasn't exactly the type of person you'd expect to make God's Hall of Faith. She lived in Jericho, worked as a prostitute, but when 2 Israelite spies showed up, she hid them and said something powerful. "I know the Lord your God is God in heaven above and on the earth beneath." She put her faith where her fear used to be, and God spared her and her family when the walls came down. The wildest part of the story is Rahab ends up being in the lineage of Jesus Christ. Next up on our list, we have Gideon, the fearful warrior. Here's Gideon, hiding in a wine press, just trying to thresh some wheat without getting caught. An angel shows up and calls him a mighty man of valor. And Gideon literally looks around like, who, me? But that's how God works. He sees the warrior inside the weakness. Gideon doubted, asked for signs, and still God used him and just 300 men to defeat a massive Midianite army. All because Gideon finally trusted what God said. Next on our list at number 5, we have Ruth, the faithful foreigner. Ruth had every reason to walk away. Her husband was gone, she wasn't from Israel, and her future looked empty. But she stayed loyal to her mother-in-law Naomi and said, "Where you go, I'll go. Your people will be my people, and your God will be my God." That kind of faith didn't just change her life, it placed her into God's redemption story. Ruth became the great-grandmother of King David, part of the line that led to Jesus Christ. If you're enjoying this countdown, hit that like button and subscribe. Let's keep spreading the kingdom of God together. Enjoy the rest of the video. God bless. Alright, moving on to the next on our list, we have David, the overlooked king. Everyone saw a shepherd boy when they looked at David, but God saw a king. When Samuel came to anoint one of Jesse's sons, David wasn't even invited to the lineup. But when they finally brought him in, God told Samuel, "Man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart." That same boy later took down Goliath with a sling and a stone. God didn't choose David because he looked the part. He chose him because David was after God's heart. We've reached the top 3. I hope y'all are enjoying the list so far. Next up, we got Mary Magdalene, the redeemed witness. Mary Magdalene had demons, literally 7 of them. But then Jesus stepped into her story and everything changed. He didn't condemn her, he healed her. He set her completely free. And from that day on, Mary followed him everywhere. Not out of obligation, but out of love. And when Jesus was crucified, She didn't run. She stood near the cross when most of the disciples were gone. And 3 days later, before the sun even came up, she went to the tomb and heard a familiar voice say her name. She turned, and the first face she saw after the resurrection was the same one that had freed her from bondage, from brokenness, and she became the first one to proclaim, "He is risen." Sitting at number 2 on our list, we have Peter the Denier restored. Peter talked big, said he'd never deny Jesus. Even if everyone else falls away, he said he never will. But that same night, fear hit. He denied Jesus 3 times, and then the rooster crowed, and their eyes met. That sound must have shattered Peter. He ran out weeping, crushed by his own failure. And after the resurrection, Jesus meets Peter back where it all started, by the sea. He's cooking breakfast over a fire, and he asks him 3 times, "Do you love me?" It wasn't to shame him, it was to heal him. For every denial, Jesus gave Peter a chance to say yes. And that same broken fisherman became the first to stand up and preach Christ to thousands at Pentecost. Alright, we have made it to the end of the list. At number 1, we have Paul/Saul, the persecutor turned preacher. Saul was feared, hunting down Christians and throwing believers in prison. He honestly thought he was doing God a favor. Every step he took toward Damascus, he believed he was defending the faith, but he was actually fighting against the truth. Then one day on the road, a light from heaven flashes around him. He hears a voice, "Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me?" He falls to the ground blinded, completely undone in that moment. For 3 days he can't see, he can only pray. And when God sends Ananias to lay hands on him, something like scales fall from his eyes. When Saul's vision clears, so does his purpose, from persecutor to preacher. Jesus doesn't just change your path, he changes your purpose. God doesn't wait for people to be perfect. He uses the unexpected, the outcast, the overlooked, and the ordinary to show his power and his love. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe, and comment who your favorite person from the list was, or if you think someone else should have been a part of it. Thanks for watching. Go out and spread the kingdom. God bless.
There's no me in kingdom, and the clock is ticking, so go out and bring others to the crown.